inspired, encouraged, and empowered. Be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. And if you aren't yet, follow me on Instagram at Inspire Her Mindset for daily inspiration. This is Rebecca Fillmore, and I want to welcome you to Her Inspired Mind podcast. Each week, I will be helping you strengthen your mind, be inspired, encouraged, and empowered. Be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. And if you aren't yet, follow me on Instagram at Inspire Her Mindset for daily inspiration. Hello to all. Thank you for tuning in this Monday evening. As many of you know, I have launched my podcast. I can't believe this will be episode 14, my bad, episode 14. And I'm super excited because every so often I am going to be interviewing different women so that they can share their stories of struggle and triumph to empower and inspire other women. And tonight's guest, I am so excited to be interviewing. I've known her for many years since we were little girls. And just to see her growth and everything that she's doing now, I just felt like you guys needed to hear her story. So without further ado, I'm going to add Chanliza. I call her Shana.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Well, we've been going back and forth a little bit today, right?
Yes.
As moms, it's a Monday, right? We had our fair share of struggles, but here we are.
Yes.
And I just want to thank you. I'm excited for this interview.
Me too.
So, just to get into everything, if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself so that our audience knows who you are.
Yes. So my name is Chanliza. A lot of people know my socials from Chanliza Maire. I'm 32 years old. Me and my other half together, we have 7 children. I live here in Atlanta, Georgia now. I love it. I'm originally from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And it's been a journey, but I love it here. I am a cosmetologist. I specialize in full body waxing and skin therapy. And of course, I also do trainings as well. So I am certified to train anyone that wants to build their waxing career, which can be very lucrative. So I've just kind of built my way to the top there with that field. And so far I'm loving everything that it's becoming. So
awesome, girl. Sounds like you're similar to me. We have a blended family of 6. So, I know what that's all about and how that is. So, so if you can tell us a little bit about your story. Where does Shana's story begin?
Where did my story begin? As far as, do you want a starting point?
Yeah. So, as you know, we want to hear not the Shana from today, but the Shana, let's say, from 10 years ago.
Okay. So my story began, I started doing hair really young. And it was something that I just kind of, it happened naturally. Everyone started liking my styles and things like that. And I started doing my own hair in school.
So you did my hair for my wedding.
Yeah, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I didn't know where it was going to go. It's not something that I really thought I was going to get into. That's not where I thought my life was going to go. I was 18. I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. I come from a lot of, we just got to get to what we're getting to, and we got, however we can. Can
you elaborate a little bit on that when you say that you just got to do whatever you can to get to where you got to get to? Where did that start for you?
Yes. So I wanted to go to college. I didn't really, my family at that time didn't really have, you know, what they needed to be able to do those things. And I just feel as though that I just seen them hustle a lot. I just seen them work, 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 work. And I knew that wasn't something that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to just have to slave myself, you know, at a job and come home. I barely seen my mom. I seen her, but it was just, you know, I wish I could see her more. I wish we could have spent more time together, along with my grandmother, you know, and it just became, that became our storyline. You know, you get up, you go to work, and you find a job, and you get it going,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
My vision, I wanted to be able to make my family proud, you know. Doing hair was something that I love doing. It just allowed me to create beauty in other women and allow them, if I know that they walked out of their appointment or session with a smile on their face, you know, whatever they came in with and they left with the opposite, then I did my job.
Yeah.
Along with creating, you know, and doing their services as well. But it was just so much deeper for me.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of where I met, you know, just kind of go, 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 go all the time. They didn't really have time to really sit, stop, and think about what they really wanted to do, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I got into doing hair around 18. I remember my aunt taking me down to the school and saying, hey, you know, she walked me every step of the way. And once I signed up, got accepted, I finished it all the way through. And I'm glad that I did. You know, it allowed me to see the beauty in everyone. You know, it wasn't just, there's so much more to people, you know, than the outside of everything. And right. And to be able to sit there in that chair and listen to half of those stories that those women would say and confide in me to listen to, you know, that was a beautiful blessing to me. And it just became it just kept growing and growing and growing. You know, my spirit, I knew I was in the right place, even though it's not something I wanted to do. But, you know, God kept telling me, look, this is where I need you.
Yeah.
So, and I just went with it.
So. Isn't that awesome feeling? Sometimes we don't understand why God is pushing us towards a certain direction. And sometimes we can resist that path. And then we have that moment where like, okay, let me just surrender, you know, let me just see where this goes, right?
Right.
And then you just begin to see things falling into place, right?
Absolutely.
Now, as you're going through this process, you're going to school and you know, you're doing all of this. How is life for you at home? Like, what kind of things were you going through? Was there anything that you were struggling with as you were doing building your career?
Yes. Personally, I don't really feel like I had support. Me and my family, we were close, but maybe we were going through some things at the time. I was living with my stepmother, and I remember walking back and forth to school and getting there, and she taught me so much when it came to understanding life and understanding people. And I felt like, you know, trying to get to school every day and walking from one end of town to the complete other end of town with this huge suitcase. It's like you really start to think about some things. You think about, it's more than just right now. You know, where do I want to be? I know I don't want to walk from one end of town to the other. What are my goals here? So I really started thinking outside the box, you know, a little more of how I can bring my life together in the way that I want to. I was, of course, I was still young. I'm struggling with myself, learning myself, trying to stay focused. You know, I missed days and then I would go back and then I'd have to I made it harder for myself in those times because I was still figuring me out. Do I really want to do this? Why am I doing this? It just got to a point where I got so frustrated because I felt like it wasn't it wasn't what I wanted it to be. I wanted so much more.
Mm.
And I was doing it for other people.
Mm.
I wasn't doing it for me. And I felt like that was a big part of my struggle.
Got you.
Everyone wanted me to go to cosmetology school. It
Mm.
was, you know, you're good at it. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to go to college. I just wanted other options, but I
Yeah.
felt like that was my only one.
Mm.
When in reality, it wasn't.
Mm.
It wasn't. I could have did anything I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
being that young, you know. And I wish that someone would have. I wish that someone would have said that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm also glad that I listened to that voice inside of me that just said, "No, I need you here."
Mm.
So, and I kept having to listen to that. I didn't. Sometimes I felt as though I wasn't going to be at the top like I wanted to be, as far as my skill. You know, as far as, because, you know, you see all these people and they're doing so much better than you, and that doesn't matter. You know, what matters is, what are you capable of? What's in you? So I had to really figure out what was in me to be able to bring that out. I had to really sit down. I had to learn myself. I had to unwrap the good, the bad, the ugly. I had to really work on myself to become better, to want better. And then going through those processes, I made it everything I needed it to be. No, go ahead.
No, what you just said, I made it. Say that again. You made it what you needed it to be.
I made it everything I needed it to be.
Wow, that's powerful. Because how many women out there, and if you're watching this, how many times have you done things not because you wanted to do it, but because you wanted to make others happy? If any of you ladies can relate to that, I would like for you to comment below that you could relate with that, because I know what that is too, girl. Like, just living to please others, just being a people pleaser. And deep down inside, you don't even know what you truly want, and you're just kind of going along with
figuring that out.
And do you ever think back and just kind of have blank moments in your years where you don't feel as connected, or maybe just wonder where were you during that time, because you were kind of just coasting by?
Do you mean compared to now?
Yes.
Well, you know, I want to say this first. Sometimes there's always, not sometimes, your growth is never done. I will say that your growth is never done. So to look back, I do that often. I do that to reflect. I do that. I don't stay there. You know, it's not a healthy place, because none of that none of that was me.
Yeah.
So to look wow. To look back sometimes, it's just like, I don't really feel like I still feel that girl. I can still, you know, sometimes she likes to come back and give those old thoughts and it's like, girl, we're not gonna do that. Okay?
Yeah.
So I have to continuously still check myself sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that you do have the power to make it anything you want it to be. You know, and whether it could come up, whether someone says something that triggers those thoughts, or you have to be strong enough in yourself to know that you're not going back there anymore. I can't relate to that girl anymore. I can't. I personally, I see so much light, but you know what? In that darkness, sometimes that little bit of light does so much.
Absolutely.
You know, and to be able to follow that and trust that, because sometimes that's all you see.
Yeah.
And but I really can't relate to that girl anymore.
Yeah.
And love to be able to say that,
Yes.
and but sometimes I will say, do not don't get hard on yourself either.
Mm-hmm.
When you do have those thoughts and it does take you back to a place. You
Mm-hmm.
have to stay present at all
Mm-hmm.
times. Like,
Absolutely.
don't think too much forward, you
Mm-hmm.
know, for on certain things, of course.
Yeah.
But don't stay where you were.
Yeah.
Take that 5 minutes, do what you have to do, cry it out,
Yep.
but come back with that smile on your face, that
Mm-hmm.
bright spirit, and make it happen. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love, sometimes it's crazy. Like for me personally, I was just talking to your sister, Bree, earlier, or was it yesterday? I think it was earlier this morning. And she was just telling me, like, I remember when, like it's weird to say that you used to have these breakdowns and, we used to know when you were about to have an anxiety attack, but it's like, it's just weird because that's not even who you are anymore, you
Right.
know? And sometimes that reflection of looking back to where you were
Yeah.
is to kind of just see how far you've come because sometimes we forget
Right.
everything that we went through,
Hmm.
to look back, not to stay stuck there, but to
Right.
be like, wow,
Hmm.
sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit about where we actually are and how far we've come.
Right.
So when we
Exactly.
look back, it's like, wow, like I can't even relate to her. Like you said, I
Right.
don't even know who that girl is.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
and I agree, like we're continually evolving. We never really arrive. Like a year from now, we'll be another version of ourselves, right? Because
Yes.
growth is just never ending, right?
Right.
Um, in your story, in your journey, can you share where you finally kind of had your aha moment to not continue to live for others, or where you just decided, like, you know what, this is enough. I'm creating a whole different life for myself.
Well, I had to sit down with myself.
Mm,
I
I would,
had to. This was personal for me.
yeah.
I really had to sit down with myself. I had to look at everything. I had to look at the good, the bad, the ugly. The saying, people say, sweep it under the carpet, don't sweep it under, that
Mhm.
carpet, you keep sweeping stuff under the carpet. No, just nothing's going to be able to fit under there anymore. You know
Girl,
what I
yes.
mean?
I
So
say
for
that all
me,
the time. Yes. You're gonna trip over it and fall flat on your face.
okay. And no, me, what I started to say was pick that, pick that rug up, throw
Mhm.
it away. Don't
Yes.
beat it out. Don't clean it. Just throw it away.
Yes. Yes.
Because there's a clean surface. There's nothing for you to, nowhere for you to hide anymore.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
you really have to start looking at the things that hurt you, the things that you love, the things that you want to be, what you don't want to be.
Mhm.
Whether that's generational or just spiritual or whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
Um, so throw that, I threw the rug away and I started sorting through everything that I felt I needed in order to be able to grow, whether that was the most, I needed me,
Mm.
number one.
Say that again.
I needed me, no one else,
Yes.
and God, of course. But
Yes.
there was no one I could look to,
Mm.
really.
Mhm.
There was no one I could really, I felt as though could give me what I needed in words.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to figure it out on my own, and I highly recommend that sometimes.
Mhm.
Just because someone gives you an opinion, that is not a validation. That doesn't mean that that's what you do or
Yeah.
how you do it. Do your own research, figure yourself out.
Mhm.
And so once I sorted through, let's start with the good. No, let's start with the ugly.
Yes. Yes.
We want a happy ending here. Uh, so the ugly had a lot to do with myself.
Mm.
That's the old me, right? Where I'm stubborn and I don't want to listen sometimes to the things that are good for me.
Mhm.
But then again, I didn't know what was good and what wasn't sometimes. I
Yeah.
couldn't decipher that. Sometimes I needed something a little bit stronger.
Mm.
And I started to find myself a little bit more spiritually at that point.
Mm.
Um, and keep moving forward from there. So the it was more of my demons, to where how I thought about myself, the things that I did, why did I do it this way? How am I supposed to feel?
Mm.
The pain that was brought to me from others.
Mm.
How do I handle these types of situations? Because I'm not handling them the right way,
Mm.
apparently.
Yeah.
And I didn't know exactly how as well. And I think that people struggle with that a lot.
Mhm.
They don't know how to get to that next step. They don't
Yeah.
know the steps to take to start really looking at yourself.
Mhm.
At that point, what are my patterns? What are my flaws?
Yeah.
How can I be a better person to
Mhm.
myself, others, and the world? How can I start responding?
Mhm.
Because your word is everything. I need to be everything I want to be,
Yeah.
and in order to do that, I need to do the work.
Mm.
um, the bad, i I feel like, was more of maybe how I grew up, maybe not having everything, that the resources and stuff like that. And I felt like it took a lot from me.
Mm.
um, and not just from me, but just my family.
Yeah.
um, and I had to start to see like where everyone was coming from.
Mm.
Where help me understand, because
Yeah.
in order for me to understand, in order for me to, excuse me, grow, I need to understand. I
Mhm.
need to understand where you came from. I need to understand how things may have happened. I have questions, and I'm
Yeah.
growing. I'm a growing person, so it's everyone has questions.
Yeah. And I think
That's a
questions lead to clarity, because if we didn't
yes,
ask questions, we're not going to get answers,
right.
right? And I like how you said that you started to sit with yourself and you started to dig within yourself and ask yourself questions and really look within and taking accountability, because a lot of times we can tend to point fingers at everybody else, like, oh, it's because of my upbringing, or they pushed me to that point, or they made me act that way. But when you're doing that, you're giving everybody else the power, and
Yes,
you're basically
yes,
powerless.
yes,
You're being like a puppet. Like if somebody, like, oh, they triggered me, they made me react
yes.
that way.
Hmm.
No, like we are all free to do
Absolutely.
how we want to, we choose how we're gonna react, right?
Right.
And so I love the fact that you said, first of all, sit with yourself, ask yourself questions. And then not only that, but now you're asking everybody else questions,
Right.
right?
Right.
So as you're doing these things and you're asking people questions, like, and you're sitting with yourself, you're asking people questions, how does your life start to change?
Well, I felt like once I got the answers I needed, and once I started to accept my good, my bad, and my ugly, you really have to look at everything. Once I really
Yes.
started to accept it all, and once you accept it, once you know it's there, once you say it out of your mouth, it's
Mhm.
real.
Mhm.
And you can't run from it. It's something that is going to stick with you no matter what, no matter where you go.
Yeah.
So I started to really put in the work as far as applying that
Mm.
pressure to myself to be able to grow into what I needed to grow into.
Yes.
Once you know better, you do better.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, then that's no one's fault but your own.
Yeah.
And that it might be hard truth, but I would rather so much someone be raw and honest with me and solid versus giving me a sugar-coated answer,
Yeah.
because you can't grow from that.
Amen.
It still keeps you stagnant.
Mhm.
So once I got the answers that I needed, and clarity that I needed, no matter if some of the answers I didn't like
Mm.
at all,
Yeah.
so, but I had to
I'm like
understand.
that. I'm the toxic one in this situation. No, not me, right? I've
Right.
had those
And,
moments, girl.
but it's like we are coming from a good place,
Hmm.
so most times. And, if it is you or it is the other person, that's okay. What matters in that situation is you start to really see what it is that you're really trying to become.
Yeah.
And you take the steps to do so. And the steps I used was what I didn't want to be. So I just researched the opposite.
Wow. That's
Does that
powerful.
make sense?
Yes. You focused not on what you didn't want, but what you wanted. And
Absolutely.
that's actually one of the keys to success in life. I was actually on a call with he's one of my favorite podcasters. He's a mindset mentor, Rob Dial, and he
Oh,
was
nice.
about that. He was talking about how when you the things that you pay attention to more, that's what you're going to attract more of into.
Yes.
So he said,
Yes.
focus on the things that you do want, because if you start talking about the things that you don't want, that's what you're going to get more of, you know? And here you
Yes.
are, a part of that.
Yes. I really believe in the power you have. It's in you. It's not on you. You know, it's you really have the power to, if you say it out of your mouth, if you can touch it, it can be.
Yes.
You know, and the best part about that is not the best part about that, but the ingredient to that is believing.
Yes.
Believing in what it is, believing in yourself, and believing that it will be.
Yes.
You know, and continuing to walk that path, because you have to also, we got to just get up sometimes. You know, figure it out. It might not look easy. We're going to have bad days. We're going to have days where we don't want to get up and get going. We're going to have days where we jump up and we're happy. But as long as you get up and you do what you have to do, and you're very conscious about these ups and downs, and you continue to continuously start making that change to every single day you get up, you're happy, you know, and you really have to start doing things for yourself. You know, it's a place where you create whatever that is for you. I love meditation music. I love it. It's something I love to do when I get up in the morning. You know, I'll put it on and I'll have my candles lit, and I have to start my day right so I can fill up everything else and everyone else in my home.
Amen.
Right? If you don't get to yourself first, you will run into a wall. And that's just what's going to happen. It's inevitable. So
Yeah.
I really encourage you to stick to that change and appreciate that change. Again, no matter what that looks like, even if you're even in your bad days, because you came a long way, and if you see that, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
No one else has to.
And I think that's important, because I think sometimes when we come from a place of doing for others and in turn having a low self-esteem and questioning ourselves, we then seek for validation from other people as we start
Yeah.
doing things. We start
Yeah.
checking in with people like, is this okay that I'm doing this? Is it okay
Yes.
that I'm bettering my life? Or if people, if you share your dreams and your goals and ambitions with other people, and if they be like, girl, you think you could do that? Like, who in our family has done that? And then you end up giving up your goals and your dreams, and you just seclude back into yourself. And I love the fact that you bring that out. Like, you have to do it for yourself and nobody else. Like, you do not need anyone else's stamp of approval or
Right.
validation except for yours.
Right. You
And I
know,
love that, like you said, you started your day. What are some other things that you've incorporated into your morning routine or daily routine, nightly routines that you might have that have helped you?
well, I love to be able to write. I used to write when I was younger, and I stopped. Life got in the way, but it was a release for me. So there's times I'll write my affirmations in the morning. I'll write my affirmations at night. I'll say them. I journal at times to be able to get whatever thoughts out that I need to get out. Just for them to be in your head sometimes. And I'm sorry, a lot of people say, oh, writing down just a waste of time. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
Write it down on a piece of paper, throw it away. It's just a way of thinking sometimes, you know, and your perception of it. But, you know, I just felt as though me starting doing that, like when I started doing that again, I really felt more whole about this, about a lot of things, because writing was a big part of my life, especially poetry. And my mother also wrote as well. I didn't know that until I was a little bit older. And so it was just simply a release. I also love to go, there is this, it's called, I want to say Chattahoochee Hills. There's it's a park. It's a park here in Atlanta. And,
Oh, okay.
right.
I wasn't sure where that was going. I'm glad you clarified that.
I mean, you know. So I like to go there. There's a lot of waterfalls and trails, and I just love the outside.
Yes.
And to be able, I love water. So I like to just sometimes just go and just sit and just breathe in the air, and just release.
Yeah.
So I love to do that. Just even going for a run sometimes, in the mornings, it jump starts a lot of my mornings, just to be able to just get it going, get your brain going. One thing I will say, speak good to yourself. Speak to yourself in a way that you are at your highest potential. You are living your dreams. You are where you exactly where you want to be. And I feel like sometimes that's the most important thing. Sometimes we get up and we might think, oh, we got to do this today. Oh, we got to do this. It's a negative versus a positive.
Yeah.
I had to change my way of thinking. And, once I did that, it just allowed me to have so much more room to think about other things that could potentially help my growth.
Yeah.
So again, it's a journey. It's just learning yourself and what that is for you. Sometimes you might do something and you're like, you know what, I really don't like this. Let me try something else. And that's okay. There is no book saying, there is no list saying that this is exactly what you have to do. These are just things that work for me.
Yeah.
Reading sometimes, getting a really, really good read. I used to hate to read.
Girl, me too. Me too.
I'm like, I don't want to read that book. It's too long. I don't want to do that. But I'm glad I did. Because the more I read, the more I gave myself knowledge on things that I didn't even know I needed to know.
Yeah.
And I think that is really more important as well. Sometimes you don't know that you needed something. And I think those are the surprises for me.
Yeah.
So, and those are the things that spoke to me the most.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect it. It wasn't something I was writing.
Yeah.
As far, how everyone says write your own narrative and things like that.
Yeah.
Which I do believe you should write your own. Don't let no one ever write your narrative for you.
Yeah.
Don't give anyone else the pen. But, just to simply to find those things and trust yourself to know that I do like this. I can do this. You can do anything you want to do. It's just believing that you can.
Amen.
Amen. To get on the podcast today. That's not something I thought I was going to do today, or we spoke about this.
Yeah,
I thought was going to happen. So again, surprise. But this is good.
Yeah,
to be able to put myself, out there in a way where hopefully someone can relate to it, and some, hopefully just to inspire.
Yeah,
that woman, and for it to just keep going.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just become a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I love it. I love everything that you said, girl, from going outside, being by the water, from reading, journaling, meditation. I mean, all of that. And for some, that might sound like a lot and it might seem overwhelming, but you only got to do one thing to take you to that next thing, right?
Yes. Please don't think that I did every other thing.
Yeah.
No. Please do not think I did all this overnight. This took time. This took discipline. Okay. To do something you want to do to not to, it's something you weren't doing at all.
Yeah.
Or if you were, it didn't matter that much at
Yeah.
that time. You didn't
Yeah.
realize what it was doing for you. You
Yeah.
know, so to be able to step into that, it's like, wow, like honestly.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we think that the path has to be straight, right? Like, do you do this consistently every single day, like without missing one day?
Say it again.
Like, your routine as a mother,
Yes.
as a woman who has to take care of her home, you have to work.
Mm-hmm.
Are your days perfect where you're doing this routine every single day? Have you done it without fail for the last how many years since you started?
No.
No, right?
No.
Me
Not
neither.
not at all.
Me
Not at
neither.
all.
How many times
Listen.
have I started over again, getting up at 5 a.m. to work out, um,
Right.
and the baby wakes up in the middle of my workout routine. I got to go back and breastfeed and put him
Yep.
back to sleep. And,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's just important for women to know, like,
Right.
it's not going to be perfect,
No.
you know?
Mm-mm. It's
And
not perfect.
yeah, and you're going
Not.
to cry, right? Like you said, if you need to cry, scream.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Look out.
There's times that, there's still times that I have my moments.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's completely normal to have those. You
Yes.
know, take a second, release, and come
Yes.
back and do what you were doing.
Yes.
Again, you are in control of yourself.
Yes.
You're in control of your decisions, your life, your choices, everything that has to do with oneself, you are in control of.
Yes.
And my routine is never like, okay, I would say 50% of the time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
of course, yes, my daughter, she might wake up in the middle of meditating, and when I say meditating, I put the meditation music on and I will sit and close my eyes and meditate. And that's not something I used to do.
Mm.
Once I started doing it, I was like, I feel so light.
Yes.
I feel like the only thing that can come against myself is me.
Mm.
You have to get into that space where you are in complete control. Not control. I don't like to use that word control.
Mm-hmm.
But to have yourself in a place where you're grounded.
Yes.
You're grounded because it is important to understand and feel that groundment.
Yeah.
Not everyone knows what that feels like. And sometimes all it is just take a second in a quiet room
Mm-hmm.
and sit with yourself and listen. Just listen.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it had just brought me to a place where, okay, look, I'm going to do, like, I need to regroup.
Mm-hmm.
I need to rethink some things. And let's continue to stay grounded on these things.
Yeah.
I know I don't like doing this. I'm going to do this better. Okay, I'm going to do this a different way.
Yeah.
That plan A didn't work out. Okay, I need to do plan B. Plan B did. Okay, you see, you never give up on what you're doing. You keep moving forward.
Yes.
And stagnance is not going to get you anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but back where you started from.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, girl. And this is why when we had our conversation last week, I was like, I'll share with you guys. I knew I was gonna start doing my live podcast again. And I was praying to God, like, what woman do I want to open this up with? And Shauna hit me up out of the blue, and we got on the phone. We had this conversation, and God was like, "It's her, like speaking my language." You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sometimes you got to hear these things from someone else, And I just thank you for even though it's something that you've never done, but there's a first time for everything, right? And I just love your energy, your vibe,
Thank you.
seeing your growth, and just the woman that you've become and that you're becoming. Because like you said, we continue to evolve, right? We continue to
Yes.
learn.
Yes, absolutely. You
And
are always becoming.
yes,
Always.
yes.
You
We're
know.
never like a year from now, we're gonna be in a completely different place and space because life happens, right?
Yes.
and things happen, and like you said, we have to adapt, and we just have to try and keep
Mhm.
trying different things.
Right.
Um, I do like what you said about releasing, because I feel like sometimes, especially now, as strong women, we got to be so tough, and we can't let nobody hurt us, whatever.
Right.
But being tough doesn't mean that you don't cry, right?
No.
When
Right.
you talk about that, like just getting a little bit deeper, like just
Hmm.
releasing, how did that help you in your journey? Were you someone who talked about your feelings before, or did you hold stuff in, or ignore things, or just push them to the side, and just didn't deal with them?
All of them.
Mm,
All of them. There was no one answer for me. It depended. It was circumstantial. Sometimes I spoke about it. On some things I didn't.
mm-hmm,
Um, Sometimes I just felt like it didn't matter.
mm,
You know, because sometimes people have so many things going on in their life that they can't give you what you need.
yes.
So I had to again trust in myself.
Mm,
And once you start doing the work in yourself, though, people come.
mm,
God puts people in your life the minute you start doing something different.
yes.
And these people helped me understand more throughout my journey and everything. And I appreciate those people
Yeah.
because, and it might be something small they said,
Mm,
or something they did, but releasing for me was, if you hold everything in, if you put too much air in a balloon, it's gonna pop, right?
mm-hmm.
If you if you put, I'm gonna just use that one. Um, but you have to. There's too much pressure.
Yeah.
If you don't sit back and just sit with yourself for a second and release that, whatever you have to do,
Mm-hmm.
scream, cry, get on the phone and talk to one of your girls and just
Yeah.
laugh it out, or because it doesn't always have to be you're crying or you're emotional about something.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just need to take yourself out of the situation for a second, just so you can get back right into it. Whatever that is,
Yeah.
talking to your friends, going out for lunch or something, But I personally, once I started releasing, it allowed me to see things clearer.
Mm.
There wasn't so much built up in my brain to
Yeah.
have to sort through.
Yeah.
It was very clear for me after that. And understanding that my release wasn't so much about other people.
Mm.
It was about me. Because, again, sometimes it's like we're moms, we're trying to work, we're trying to build uh, other business plans that we're trying to do, whatever it is for you that you're doing, because I
Mm.
still have goals that I'm working on and
Mm.
working toward, and I can't wait to bring those out. But
Yeah.
in order to be able to get there, I had to release all the things that weren't moving in my favor.
Mm.
And a lot of that ended in tears
Mm-hmm.
for me,
Yeah.
but I can laugh, I can smile now, but I can smile genuinely now.
I was gonna
You know,
say, can you elaborate a little bit more on releasing things that maybe a woman might be like knowing what women struggle with releasing? What kind of situations or things would you advise that maybe they would have to release, that they're having a hard time letting go of or releasing from their lives?
sometimes I could speak for myself. I feel as though I had to understand that people are going to come and go.
Mm,
That was one thing. Some people are here just for a season,
mm,
and they're here to do whatever job they were sent to do.
yeah.
Um, you know, we have to release all the things that happened to us,
Mm,
whether it was intentional or not.
mm-hmm.
We hold things in sometimes that are very, very painful.
Mm.
Very painful. Whether that is sexual, whether that is loss of a
Mm-hmm.
family member. Sometimes it's really hard for people to cope with things like that.
Yeah.
And I know it's getting a little deeper, but it's truth.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the raw when it comes to a lot of women, and especially a lot of the women that I have spoken to within my career. You know, we'll sit down and we'll have therapy sessions, you know,
Yeah.
about our lives, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, so, and to hear the things that even they had to release, you know, whether they were in toxic relationships,
Mm-hmm.
or letting go of the things that, how you think about yourself.
Mm.
You need to let those things go. You can't continue to keep revisiting your past, or what you think you are, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because you're so much more than that,
Yes.
you know. So I don't know if you can hear my daughter
It's
crying,
okay, girl.
but she's screaming.
Listen,
I
it was
was like,
yours or
do I need to
mine.
run over there to get her? Like, what's going on?
It was even gonna be yours or mine. It's all
Right.
good.
I think I don't know, but she plays hard. Okay,
Uh-huh.
she's a little buff baby.
Okay.
But
It's all good.
yeah. But you know, I encourage you to release all the things that you're holding on to that nobody knows about,
Mm.
because those are the things that hurt us most. The things that even, you know, even before this relationship that I'm in now, you know, it's not even be able to talk to them,
Mm.
you know, and be authentically myself. You know, I felt like I was always hiding something.
Mm.
Not in a way where it was bad, like hurting them, but in a way where I couldn't fully show you myself.
Mm.
And that wasn't a place I wanted to be. That wasn't a direction I wanted to go.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to sit back and just, you know what? I'm gonna release the toxicity. I'm gonna release the negative feedback. I'm going to release anything that doesn't serve me. And whatever that looks like for you ladies, and I want you to think deep when it comes to this, to your release, because it'll be the things you don't even want to remember.
Mm.
And I think that's deep for me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because sometimes I think that I had placed things in a certain place in my mind where I didn't want to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to feel it. If I didn't think about it, I didn't see it. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that's very unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so unhealthy because I was limiting myself from where I knew I could go. Because if I sat with myself and I really listened and sorted through all those things in my younger years, you know, now I have, but
Yeah.
I would have maybe been on I don't want to say different path, but just I would have been here a lot sooner. Versus you know, versus like waiting like, you know, this long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not long. I'm 32, but that's not the point. I feel as though this could have happened a lot faster.
Yeah.
But that was me.
Yeah.
You know, get out of your own way.
Amen to that. Wow, that was powerful. Thank you for getting deep into that. I just wanted to ask you to not end, but I want to open up for any questions for any women that are here. But before that, I would like you to give just some final, whatever's on your heart. What words would you give to any woman that you feel on your heart right now that you would want a woman to know at this time?
Okay.
So if you think about, oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say.
No, it's okay. No, I had to take a deep breath for a second.
Yeah. Okay.
I would tell you what I would have told myself, and I want you to trust yourself.
Mm.
I don't want you to devalue anything of yourself because of yourself, because you're not speaking to yourself properly. You're not speaking life into yourself or light or love. That's why it's very important to look in that mirror. You know, even if you have to love every part of you, your mind, your spirit, your body, no matter what that looks like, you know, and just be naked for a second, whether that's mentally, you know, or physically, but just really look at yourself for everything you are and shed everything that you were and watch what you are completely come to light, because that is a form of release. Release your old self completely. Let them go. And don't look back either. And if you have to look back, please only look back to reflect on where you were. Because, you know, again, opinions from others are not validation. You are your own narrator. And for you to pick up that pen and write your story, you are in control of all of that. You know, don't devalue yourself by thinking you're not good enough to get to the top, no matter what that looks like. Because it's not going to be easy. No, but no one ever said it was going to be. You know, I think it's also important to have a really good support system. You know, and that's not just blood. That comes from everywhere. You know, I have people that I'm really close with that support me now that, you know, I didn't have before.
Yeah.
And I met them through a friend of a friend of a friend. You know, and you never really know. I want you to really start to look at the deeper parts of yourself and know that they're beautiful too. And your story doesn't stop because you continued to derail.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna fall off. It's not gonna feel good. You're gonna sometimes you might think that you're not making it. It's not what you need it to be. I'm not good enough for this. Why am I doing this? I'm not pretty enough. I don't, my body isn't the way I want it to be. So it doesn't matter. None of that matters. You know, what matters is what life you breathe into you. You know, like I said, it's what's in you, not on you. You know, you have the power. It's all there. You know, are you going to do the work, or are you going to allow yourself and other people to give you that leeway to just be in the same place? Give yourself excuses. Do not put limitations on your life, and do not give excuses for yourself, because you won't do a lot of things.
Yeah.
When I stopped putting limitations on my life, that is exactly when I started to evolve. And it didn't matter if I thought I couldn't do it. It didn't matter. I did it. You know, and even when those thoughts would creep in, guess what? I'm doing it. And I'm good at it.
Yes.
You know, but again, it's not being arrogant or cocky. It's being confident within what the work you've done. You've done. You know, take that power back. The only hands it should be in is yours.
Yeah.
You know, I think we give too many people, or give too many, not even people, but things, the power. Oh, I can't do this because I have to get the kids, or I can't sit down and work on my affirmations because there's always an excuse. I'm tired. We're all tired.
Yes.
You know?
Facts, girl.
Yes, I'm tired.
I'm just tired.
And we have to just be okay. Like, we got to just get up and be okay with all the things that we're doing. You know, be okay, meaning you put the work in. You're moving toward a better place, whether that's mentally, spiritually, or physically. And keep striving for that success, you know. And I will always give feedback to someone else. I will always, be that person, be that light for someone else, because I know what it's like to give it to myself.
Mm.
And, women empower women,
Mm-hmm.
and we need each other, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to speak your truth,
Yeah.
because your truth is really what makes you, and your truth could help somebody else. I wish we had longer, because of course there's so many things and topics that we could get into.
Yeah.
But again, it's beautiful to even be able to have this opportunity to be able to speak to you all and give you a little piece of myself, and hopefully it can do something for you as well.
Yeah. Amen to that, girl. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Dropping them gems.
You'll know.
Yes. So, if anyone has any questions or comments that you would like to leave for Shauna, I'm checking to see now if I can see the chat. Okay. All right. So we saw, I don't know, can you see the comments, Shauna?
No.
Okay. So Bree Lopez said facts definitely earlier.
Okay.
And girl with the clappy hands. So you must have said something that touched her. So
Amen.
so if nobody has any final questions, um, all right. All right. So no final questions. I want to thank you, Shauna, for
You're
joining
welcome.
tonight. And I look forward to having many more conversations with you. Um, is there, you're in Atlanta, right?
Yes.
So if you want to leave any kind of your information as far as like where they can reach you, for you teach classes, right? You said
Yes. My wax courses. Yes.
yes. How can they
Absolutely.
reach you for that?
Well, I can give them my email, and they can send it to the business email. That
Okay.
way I can keep everything in one place and
Okay.
everything's organized and in order. I'll
Yeah.
get to you in the order that you came through as.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
You too, love. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye-bye. All righty. Well, what a great interview that was with Shauna. I love the gems that she dropped about releasing, her daily routines, her affirmations, journaling, I mean, reading, all of these things I do as well. And that's why, like, I put my stamp on that, because that's partly why I am where I am today, because of doing those things as well. So I hope that you ladies found value tonight. I hope that you were inspired, empowered. Please share this broadcast with other women that you feel as though that they would benefit from this podcast episode. And if you haven't yet, you can find my podcast, Her Inspired Mind, on Spotify, Apple, any podcast platform, you can find it. And I usually drop new episodes every Tuesday. And so I look forward to hearing feedback from you ladies. If you also know of any women that you feel as though their stories would um, be empowering to other women, please connect them with me, and I would be happy to put them on the schedule. So moving forward, I'm going to, I think I'm going to do it every other week, interviewing women live Mondays at 7 p.m. So just keep a lookout for the flyer for that. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode.